Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Yesterday, and they've kept it up for all of today, CNN's been touting this headline Racist Dr. Seuss Drawing for Sale. I went back and looked. This story first came out in 2012 when it was acknowledged that he'd made these racist drawings. Now, those same ones that were written about then are being sold now. The auction price is beginning at 20,000. And imagine how many people will read that, be disappointed, have their feelings hurt, and then think about how much money somebody else out there is willing to pay for that. All part of this sickness. But anyway, it's obvious that these headlines are just here to contribute to the tormenting and the race war. Race war has a gematria of 33. Dr. Seuss, with the S exception just on the capital S, which is acceptable, is a 33 name with Pythagorean gematria. And the word rhyme has a gematria of 33. Hip hop music, which is based on rhyming, is so full of 33. The word hip itself has a gematria of 33, simple English. Orange is a word that there is no rhyme for, and it's also a word with 33 gematria. Just throw that in there as a little fast fact. But here it was back in 2012, talking about these same drawings depicting black people, Asian people in negative ways, typical of the times. And to me, when I read these things, I don't judge anybody. And ironically, he made his drawings and they were released in something called Judge magazine. Judge, a word with 47 gematria. But anyway, I don't judge anyone because I just think about, we as a society, when we hear these stories from the early 1900s, the late 1800s, we go, oh, how awful those people were, how crazy those people were, how disgusting those people were. While at the same time, the people who say those types of things are currently holding all these prejudiced and racist beliefs against Middle Eastern people, Muslim people, and all sorts of other people. We're just such a weird programmed group. So many people try to be politically correct and follow these mainstream storylines while not thinking about any of their current behaviors, not any of the ones that have been diagnosed already for them and labeled by the mainstream media. All this stuff just shows how well trained we are as a society in the way we think and also don't think. It really seems impossible to hold these kind of standards and think these types of ways. But at the same time, most people watching this video are already probably recognizing that this is true of so many people. They'll read a story like this and go, "Oh, that's so bad that Dr. Seuss was that way." But at the same time, they're very racist themselves. You know, what are people going to say about our generation and the way we've behaved and the problems that we've let go on while we've done what? Watch television? That's why I think anytime anybody's judging people of the past, they need to take a step back and evaluate the present. Check this out. This is from regular news coverage, local news, ABC 10 in a certain city. They're going on with this story at 11:33 p.m. And I don't think that's a coincidence, Truth Seeker. I think that's more purposeful 33 placement and these, stories that are about dividing and conquering us. This story is going to stir up all sorts of different types of emotions in different segments of our populated. Because even though we're all programmed similarly by demographic and by race, we all get subtly different programming that helps, keep that unnecessary tension and hate going. The stuff that diminishes the quality of our lives. In the back here, there's this racist phrase. We've been talking a lot about racist terms and how they're coded with this special gematria, especially the N-word nigger. Back here it says a nigger for your woodpile. If you're not familiar with that term, this is where it comes from. Imagine that you're a rich white person and you come out at night, and we're back in the day, and you find one of your black slaves digging through the woodpile. You'd think, something's hidden in that woodpile. And that's where this figure of speech comes from. A sign that something suspicious is up, something's wrong. So, for Dr. Seuss to have a drawing about this from when they said he was 27 years old when he drew this. You know, it's no different than what's going on right now. The media is trying to make this shameful on the same day that they're publicly broadcasting there's a anti-Muhammad drawing contest in Phoenix, and they're making it seem like that's okay and suitable. So just think about that. That is the clash of cultures of the past with our current culture, and it just shows how we are not thinking clearly as a people. Anyone who's disgusted by this should just as equally be disgusted by the drawing thing going on in Phoenix, Arizona today. And I'm sure there's a reason our media has both these stories up at the same time. The editors of this news are laughing at how hard they've got us. Sex scandals here, CEO dead there, more ISIS shaming women here. They even brought Natalie Holloway back, the guy who created the Silk Road, the online internet. You know, it's just a bizarre mix of nonsensical stories we don't need. Day in and day out. But don't forget it. This one's just part of the race war. All right, until next time, Truth Seeker.